Three, two, one. As always, this your boy Daniel Lionsden Evans, and you are live inside the den. What my volume sound like, baby? Good. Good volume. All right. Good volume and good vibes. As always, this is a live, unrehearsed, unrestricted show. This is what we call the Moonlight Edition. Just a Moonlight Edition. A little bit late in the evening, about 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that. And just wanted to talk to y'all this evening. Got a couple of hot topics that we want to discuss tonight inside the den. This your boy Daniel Lyons and Evans once again. As always, I'm happy to see you all. Thank you all for joining me tonight on this Friday evening and to spend some time with me. So, first topic on my list is the Derek Chauvin sentencing. We all know that Derek Chauvin was the officer that was charged with the death of George Floyd. And today, the verdict came out, the sentencing, and he received a little over 22 and a half years in prison for the death of George Floyd. Now, this is my thing. Are we getting closer to turning the corner into, making things better for our people in America? Now, they was trying to suggest that he only get time served and that he got probation and all that kind of stuff. But from what my understanding is, the judge quickly shot that down and gave him, now to see, the maximum term for that was 40 years and the minimum was 10. So they met him halfway with the 22 years. I had said before, when they gave him the verdict of guilty, a lot of black people was overly celebrating about his guilty verdict. And I had said then that we need to wait to see what they do as far as the sentencing, because there have been times where someone may be found guilty of a crime, but then in some type of messed up justice, the person didn't receive the time that was expected, and it was almost like a slap in the face, where if someone commits a murder, they only get 2 years. That's like a slap in the face. So I was a little bit skeptical at first when they came out with the verdict of guilty, because we don't truly get the win until the actual sentencing comes out. So now with the sentencing being given 22 years, I guess in some way we can, in some form, halfway, and I don't even want to say that we can fully celebrate this, because this is one out of probably thousands that, unless you go back and fix all of that, this is really, it's not really a win. But like I said before, we have to celebrate the small victories. And so in that fashion, it's safe to say that, because because they did get the sentencing right, and they got this one right, that it can be some type of, celebration going on for whatever the person feels they need to celebrate for. And then my next point will be, with that being said, him getting a sentencing of 22 years, do you feel that he is the token person to take the hit for, I don't know, just for a long line of, bad police officers, and they say, we're going to give y'all one for y'all to ponder on, and so y'all can kind of shut up? I don't know if it's like a token situation going on. They just pick somebody and say, you the fall guy, and you take that one for the team. Or are we finally turning the corner to equal rights and being able to to bridge the gap between, being treated equal. You know what I mean? That's still, I guess it's still up for discussion whether you all feel like we're getting closer or if we still at square one. And then my next point in this whole um, situation, because I don't want to spend a whole hour talking about him, because you're going to hear this on the news for the next couple of days. People are going to be talking about this. Some black people are skeptical to even think that he might not even be in the jail. They might sneak him out and have him on some other place, or some type of privileged place where he's not able to actually experience, life in prison, but on a more privileged scale. I don't know, but I will say this: they have to put him in some type of segregation so that he's not, you know, I'm not going to say so he won't be harmed, but I will say that if he is in that environment in prison, he's not protected, then it's a 50-50 chance that he may not do all 22 years. And not saying that he was going to be released from prison, but it's just like street justice. When you're in the streets and you're doing something and you done messed up with people, street justice is, you get killed, or somebody will take one for the team to make sure that you're not able to screw over anybody else. So he could potentially, if you don't, not put in protection, somebody could kill him in prison, and he probably won't do 22 years. Or just such things. Like, I had the feeling of whenever Bill Cosby was put in jail, Bill Cosby was to the age where he probably wasn't going to do all this time, because potentially he will pass away in prison because his body's already old. So in this case, him being the way he is, having people in prison who know what he has done, potentially he won't do all the time, but be killed in prison. So that's my take on that. That's the first hot topic of the day. And then my second hot topic is going to kind of be not so much a repeat, but with with the federal government, you know, um, mandating and passing Juneteenth as a national holiday. All of this is going in conjunction with each other, with with the justice system, finally standing up and doing justice on something that should be done or should be corrected. I have to ask the question: are we turning the page to finally getting justice, and are we finally being able to experience a life close to a normalcy as we can, with the passing of these laws, and then with the sentencing and all this kind of stuff? It really kind of makes you think that, what I'm saying, that for the sake of argument, that, finally, finally making the right decision to do things the right way. Um, I don't know. Justice is supposed to be blind, but at times it looks like justice turns a blind eye, turn a blind eye to the rights and the wrongs of things in the world. Uh, do I trust the justice system? I do not. Um, and I'm not talking based off of what I see on the news. I'm talking about personal experience with the justice system. I do not trust the justice system. So for all it's worth, sorry, for all it's worth, I just feel like, what I'm saying, that um, there's something else uh, that's going on. It could be just like he could just be a token for, the white community to say that, we finally gave y'all one. We finally gave y'all Black President Barack Obama. No matter how you feel about him, good, bad, or indifference, um, whether you feel like he was the first Black president of the United States, or if you feel like, our past has already produced a Black president, whatever you feel about Barack Obama. When I was coming up, there was no way, shape, form, or fashion it looked like we would ever get to a point of being able to have a African American president in the United States. And that's the thing that's been ringing for years. When are we going to be treated as equal? When are we going to be able to be, looked at as qualified to do the same job? And for the sake of argument, boom, here you go. This is your one chance. So shut up. Injustice in my mind. I kind of translate things, certain things that happens. This is your one. Shut up. Now, all the beatings, all the shootings to the police, everybody, all the police that has been let go, has been turned the other cheek, have been turned the blind eye. Now here go you one. So don't say we're not trying to appease the black community, because now here go you one. Is that the case? Now, okay, here go the Black Holiday, the Black Independence Day. So now what else can you complain about? So the next thing is probably going to be talking about, when are we going to receive some type of reparation for slavery in terms of what our ancestors went through. And I said on a couple of shows before, are we ready for change? Are we ready for reparations? Or as a people, are we ready to receive, the payment for the punishment that we received for our ancestors? I said before that if we're not educated on a level, if we're not educated and if we're not taught what to do with money and how to spend money and how to cultivate ourselves, then having a bunch of money with no plan is really not worth anything to me, because all you're going to do is give a bunch of money to some people who don't really understand, and it's going to be a waste. It's going to be crazy in the terms of this. So here's an example. The guy that won the lottery a few weeks back and won 30,000, and then he spent 20,000 on the chain, and then he got the chain stolen from him, ended up with 10,000. Think about if you gave a bunch of people who didn't have no money a couple $100,000 each, and they was out there just robbing each other for the hundreds of thousands they got, and it would just be like open season on just doing that. Would be a freaking will be close to an apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? If that was to happen. So in my mind, when you talk about terms of reparations and apologizing and paying for past, situations, being able to cultivate and educate and give us some land and give us some things that we can control, so that we won't be just blindly, foolishly spending money and doing a bunch of things that really don't make any sense. Which brings me to, back to Juneteenth. Last weekend, some of y'all saw the videos. We had a Juneteenth pop-up shop. And the point of the Juneteenth pop-up shop was to symbolize the importance of the Black Wall Street. If anybody know about the Black Wall Street, it was the time where the community was set up, and it was a Black Wall Street, all Black businesses, all the money stayed into the Black community. And so we was trying to simulate a miniature Black Wall Street, where all the vendors came out with their products, and they was able to sell their products at the same place. And in my mind, you was able to come in and buy from one vendor and then trade with another vendor. I myself personally, I had a table set up as well. I had a vendor booth set up as well. And what I did purposely was, every dime that I made from my spot, I would go and spend with another vendor and help them move their product as well. So at the end of the day, if I'm spending my money on this vendor, that vendor spending their money on this vendor spending their money, and everybody get a chance to sell out product, but everybody get a chance to spend with each other. Everybody can be successful, everybody can make money, but the money stays inside the community. That was the point and the purpose of the Juneteenth pop-up shop, so that we can understand what it was like to having that black Wall Street and on the day of the black independence. Um, and so once again, I pose the question, are we getting closer to turning the corner, or are we still stuck turning our wheels, spinning our wheels? Are we back at square one again? We have to decide where we go from here. If we moving forward, or are we constantly being kicked back and going backwards due to the past coming back to haunt us? And that was just something that I really wanted to express uh, in terms of that day. And then my next point, or my next topic, like I say, these are some hot topics. This is a little bit like I say, a little bit different format than what we used to doing, because this is a moonlight edition. You will probably never see me on this late on the show. I don't know. Maybe in the future you might. I don't know. It depends on the vibe and what we got going on. But let me give me a little something to drink. I'll give you 1 second. So after celebrating July 4th, some people call it 4th of July, however you say it, which is American independence, I think that I might be changing gears a little bit, you know what I'm saying, moving forward. And because they have made Juneteenth a national holiday, I think for a while, don't know how long, uh, I will omit, or I will refrain from celebrating 4th of July and American independence, and I will focus more on Juneteenth and the black independence. The reason why is, before we can celebrate American independence, I talk to my people all the time and tell them, we got to find out we got to learn our story. We got to find out where we came from. We got to find out, because there's a disconnect and a miscommunication in the school system. There is a miscommunication in society, period, when it comes down to learning about the black independence, the Juneteenth, and things like that. I was in a gas station picking up something on the way home that same night, and the guy asked me, and he was like, how was your day? Blah blah blah. I told him, look, we just coming from our Juneteenth celebration, and he asked me, what is Juneteenth? I've been hearing about it all day. I've been seeing on Facebook, what is Juneteenth? And for about 2 minutes, I stood there and I was explaining to the guy that Juneteenth is the day that that the slaves was freed, emancipated, and things like that. And then he said, "Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks for the education. Thanks for letting me know." I was trying to compare it, and which I learned that it can't be compared to the Hispanic version of Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is the celebration of one war, one victory that they won, a victory, versus having an Independence Day. But if you ask Hispanic about Cinco de Mayo, all of them know what it is, but not all of them might not know what it represents. But that's their day that they celebrate, their little deal. 4th of July is normally when everybody celebrates Independence Day for America. But like I said before, if you want to truly solve some of these problems if you want to solve some of these problems with some of the racial tensions and the racial disconnect, the prejudice and things like that, if you don't educate the people on their independence and find out their history, then it's always going to be a disconnect. And I believe that the problem lies in us not knowing who we are and what our purpose is, and how hard we had to fight for these things. For a white person not to know why Juneteenth is so important. Why are we fighting for these days? Why are we fighting for this freedom? Why are we fighting for this equality? Why? For you not to know that, for you not to know the history becomes a problem, because what looks like we're crying and whining and complaining about something, we're not crying and complaining and whining. We're just trying to be heard. We're trying to get our point across, trying to get our feelings. And that's the part that it makes the situation worse, when you just think that a group of people are just being petty and just being disrespectful and being unruly and things like that, because you don't know what you see them crying, but you don't know where the tears came from. You see them fussing, but you don't know what made them angry. You know what I mean? So we have to learn, and even for for our people, some of the disrespect that's displayed on a daily basis to the elderly, to the ones that have paved the way. Some of the youngsters out here don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to to do nothing, because they just haven't been learned or haven't been taught. But a lot of black men and black women have paved the way for our youth to be able to do what they're doing. And this is another point, just hit me like a ton of bricks. So right now, if you're watching the summer games, you're seeing a lot of African Americans going to Tokyo for the Olympics. It's probably, I haven't done my research on it, I'm just thinking out loud. It's probably one of the most times where they've had the most African Americans going to the Olympics at one time. And I made a joke earlier and say that if America kicks us out, we can always go and live in Tokyo. We're gonna be going to Tokyo. We're gonna be going to Tokyo this summer for the Olympics. So Tokyo may become our second home. That was just a joke, y'all. Chill out. But for the young lady that won, the fastest woman in the world with that long hair, color hair, and all that kind of stuff, some people might look at her and say that she's going to be representing America looking like that. And some people might say, oh, she looks very hoodish or hood radish or whatever. But this is going to be the person that's going to represent America in Tokyo looking like this. Understand where the struggle came from. Understand how many people had to die just for that young lady to be able to compete in the Olympics. Anybody, right? And there's a lot of people, Caleb, that's going to the Olympics that's from North Carolina. I've been watching a little bit, every once in a while, but there's a lot of people from North Carolina going to the Olympics, and whether they black, white, green, or whatever, but for them to be able to compete in the Olympic Games and go to Tokyo to represent America, understand how important that is for those young people to know who they represent. Come on now, this is the year that we just got Juneteenth, recognized as a national holiday. They're doing a lot of stuff, in the government right now trying to help turn the corner. And we have the most number of African Americans right now going to represent the United States. You need to know who you represent. You need to know who paved the way for you to compete. You need to know who paved the way for you to be where you are right now, without any disrespect, without being ignorant to the cause, because it's deeper than just being the fastest woman in the world, being the fastest man in the world. People can make jokes and say, oh, black people run from the police, and Black people run, they chase chickens and all these different kind of, different stereotypes and things, and you can come up with all kind of ways to justify, how this person was able to be the fastest. Uh, but understand what the message that's being sent out, whether it's for the good intention or wrong intention. When you say we have accomplished having the first black president in Barack Obama, and now the stroke of history, and now you have a vice president that's black, but that's also female. So that is a historical a moment right there. This is the first time this has ever happened. You know what I mean? So the young women, the young girls that's coming up, they can look at what we're doing now and say, I too have a chance to be the president, vice president. I can go to the Olympics. I can, do this. And now the positive mindset of a person is starting to change because they've been told no all their life. Now they're being told yes, but not only are they being told yes, they're able to see other people telling them yes. That's very powerful. So the question again, are we closer to turning the corner? Are we close to turning the corner, or are we still standing still? Unfortunately, we have to keep living in order to answer that question. Because on the very day that George Floyd case was found, you know, um, this young man, um, Derek Chauvin, I don't know if I'm saying his name right or not. I don't know. But on the same day that he was found guilty of all charges, all the black people was out the streets turning backflips, throwing barbecues, shooting water guns, popping firecrackers, all that kind of stuff. That same day, somebody else was killed. The same day. And I'm pretty sure if I turn the news on the day that he got sentenced, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that I can go and see somebody else done got shot. So are we winning? Are we losing? Or are we just a puppet in this whole game that trying to be manipulated to make you a whole lot of things? But we got to see. People are very, don't trust a whole lot. So when they show us something, we have a hard time believing what we see until it happens. Now we're starting to see some things. Are these chain of events that we're seeing, is this going to make us start believing that we can trust the system? Or are we still going to be skeptical every time we see something? This is what I think about. So, yeah, he got sentenced to 22 years. Yeah, we got a holiday. Um, but this is not it. It's not over. So, in my mind, I don't know about you, Caleb, but in my mind, if you playing football, do you start celebrating in the third quarter that you done won a game? Or do you have to keep playing until the last second is gone? So we have to keep playing ball. We have to keep doing what we're doing. We have to keep living because this is only probably quarter number one of a 4-quarter game. I have to use football references because that's how I get down. We're probably only in quarter number one of a 4-quarter game. And we can't be jumping up and down and turning backflips because we just scored a touchdown and we got a whole lot more game left to play. We might be a team that might be 0-100, then got beat in every game. And now we find us scoring a touchdown and we feel like we done won something. I remember teams like that when I played football. I remember teams that used to get all excited about one touchdown. They done got the draws beat off of them the whole season. They done had 10 losing seasons in a row. And when they score a touchdown, they feel like they don't won a championship. Or if they win one game, they don't think they won a championship. It ain't over with yet. We still got a lot of work to do. We still have more corners to turn. We still have more things to accomplish, and we're not done yet. So I like to celebrate the small victories. I like to celebrate, what we're doing. But part of me wants to reserve my celebration for when I can truly say that we have turned the corner or we have turned the page to making this thing right across the board. And whether that comes in a form of a reparations check, whether it comes in a form of, I don't know, just some extreme makeup over the years, we still have that. We still have to, that still remains to be seen. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be real because I've been living. In a few months, it'll be 42 years. No, I'm sorry. 41 years. I'm trying to give myself more time than I got on board. You know what I mean? But in a few months, I'm sorry, it'll be 41 years for me in a few months. And in all my years, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still looking. I'm still living because I know that we still have a lot of work to do. I told somebody the other day, I was born and raised in Mississippi. Mississippi get a reputation of being probably one of the racist states in the United States. But as a kid in Mississippi, even as a grown man in Mississippi, I haven't experienced racism on a level that I have experienced in Mississippi that I experienced in other places like Oklahoma. I was called the N-word more in Oklahoma than I was in Mississippi. I have been mistreated more in Oklahoma than I have been in Mississippi. So Mississippi for me is not the same Mississippi for everybody else. One of my first childhood friends in the world, and this might shock some of y'all, the very first friend I had in this world was a white boy named Michael Myers. You know Michael Myers, right? The killer, Halloween. First friend, white boy, Michael Myers, he taught me how to ride a skateboard. Me and him was best friends. In fact, I can call him right now, and if he still considers me a friend, I can say that is the longest friend I've ever had in my life. Now, I will be honest with you. We haven't been close friends for all our lives, but he's somebody who I consider a friend, meaning that if I had to go through my life and recall people that I can deal with and say, friend, he would be one person I would say, this is still my friend. Anytime I come to town in Mississippi, always he got a convenience store in Gulfport off of Ardito Road. I always go and see it. I always spend money with him in this store. He knows my name. He knows my whole family. But he was the very first friend I ever had in my life. So growing up in Mississippi wasn't a struggle for me. It became more of a struggle for me as I got older and as I became an adult. Not because of the racism, but because of the mentality. Certain people in a certain area have a certain mentality. If you've been beat down and beat down and beat down so long, you kind of develop a attitude, a personality for beat downs. Your mindset kind of changes when you know that you can't win or when you think you can't win. So as an adult, I started having a harder time because of the mentality of the people. And we all know the term or the phrase, the crabs in a bucket. That's what I started experiencing as an adult. But as a child, I didn't experience racism like that. So I have been looking and I have been waiting for things to change. I would love to be able to talk to my grandkids and my great grandkids and tell them the story how we finally was able to turn the corner and turn the page to the dawn of a new day. But we have to keep pushing. It's not over yet. We still have a lot of work to do. And which brings me to the topic that I'm going to, take out of here. Um, there was a tiger that escaped in Texas, Houston, Texas, some weeks back, and he was missing for some, I think maybe about 2 weeks or whatever. They were looking for this tiger. They didn't know where he was. But on one of the videos, they show a Houston cop pulls his gun on the tiger, clearly out of fear. So here we are. A Houston police officer, a ranger, or whatever you want to call him, spots the tiger. Somebody call him in and then say, boom, he out here, boom. Get out to the scene, pulls his gun on the tiger. And although he was fearful of the tiger, keyword, fearful. Somebody said I got a speech problem. He was fearful of the tiger, pulled his gun, but he remained calm throughout the situation, calm enough not to pull the trigger on this tiger. Repeat the story. A tiger, a wild animal, a tiger escaped from some place. I don't know if it escaped from the zoo or somebody had him as a pet, but a big wild animal, tiger, escaped, was roaming around the neighborhoods for weeks at a time. Everybody was scared, stuck in the house because they didn't want to get caught slipping with this tiger. I can imagine how it would feel if a lion was running around the neighborhood without nowhere to go and was just looking at stuff to try to doggone. Somebody spotted the tiger, called the police, and the ranger shows up to try to see about this tiger. The police officer, the ranger, pulls out his gun in obvious fear of this animal. Probably, if you would have shot the animal, you probably wouldn't have done a whole lot of damage because it's so big. You would have had to use a large gauge gun, 12 gauge, whatever, to even affect this animal. And shooting him would probably piss him off and made him even matter. You know what I'm saying? It's like shooting a tic tac at an elephant. So, don't know if the cop hand was shaking in fear because they didn't show that close on the camera. I can imagine if I saw a wild tiger, I would probably be shaking because you don't know what he's going to do, and he got the power to devour you. But in obviously fear, the gun was drawn on the tiger. And the cop remained calm enough not to shoot the tiger. But there's always a but. But police officers can't be calm enough, or they won't display being calm enough to not pull the trigger on a black man. So do the tiger get more respect than a black man? Is a tiger more Is a black man more feared than a tiger? Well, you got to kill him because I'm scared of him. I got to kill him out of fear. But you let a tiger walk. Come on now. Caleb?
Mm-hmm.
You let a tiger walk, but you let a man die. I'm going to give you another one. Johnson & Johnson released their version of the one-shot coronavirus vaccine. And Johnson & Johnson is already under scrutiny for cancer in the powders that they put out. But they still had a chance to put out a vaccine. Already under scrutiny with another product. How does this work? They pulled the vaccine because it killed 6 people with the potential of killing more people. Pulled the vaccine because it killed 6 people with the potential to kill more. But they refused to pull the police officers off the street for killing people with the potential of killing more. They fought hard to get it back on the shelf. Come on now. But they won't fight to keep the police off the streets. So my question, are we getting closer? Or are we still at the beginning? You decide. I told those stories because they're really significant, and when you looking at things with your eyes, and then you got the smoke and mirrors going on. Go watch the movie Snake Eyes. I was talking about Snake Eyes a couple weeks ago, and I had to go watch the movie again because it had been since '97 since I seen the movie. It's got Nicolas Cage in it. It's a FBI cover-up. Fighter was supposed to throw a fight. A heavyweight champion supposed to throw a fight, and they were trying to kill a diplomatic senator or some type of high-ranking person. And they wanted to make it look like a assassination, but they was all working together. Everybody had their mind on the fight, and they wasn't thinking about the crowd and the people around them. And then the shot rang out. You don't know what's going on because you're thinking about this shot. You are watching the fight. Snake Eyes. The boxer went down. Everybody was losing their money. They put the money on the champion instead of the doggone loser. He racked a lot of money up, paid off a debt. Come to find out, he got hit by a phantom punch. The punch never even landed. But because they were so focused on something else, nobody caught it. A bunch of distractions in the crowd. One lady with a red hair, the person supposed to be protecting this diplomatic person ran after his woman, and when he left his post, the shot fired. Everybody worked together on this. Watch the movie. I ain't gonna tell you all the details, but watch the movie called Snake Eyes. I said that because I think about Snake Eyes whenever I see something going on, and when you look behind the scenes, there's something else going on. I told y'all the conspiracy theories that I had about the coronavirus and the Black Lives Matter movement and the Trump election. We ain't gonna go into detail because I don't want them to shut me off. I said something about Corona a couple weeks ago, okay, but they took the whole video down. So I ain't gonna go down that road. I'm just gonna tell you that I have some theories that I put together that makes me think that when I hear things and see things, I think about Snake Eyes. What you see is not what you actually get. What you think is, I'm like the MIB. What you think you thought you see is not what you see. Because somebody's coming in back door with some other story and some other narrative. I don't know. I have some more theories too that I can probably get into on another show. But I don't want to get into too many details and all that. But I will tell you this. You keep watching. Take notes. Keep watching. Take notes. Keep watching. Take notes. And then you go back and add everything up. And then you can decide for yourself if you're dealing with snake eyes or not. They got a thing called hiding in plain sight. Somebody gonna hide from you, they're gonna hide right in front of your face. I've told a story that I had stopped eating Taco Bell for like 5 years or 4 years. I ate my first Taco Bell chicken, butt naked chicken chalupa the other day. Oh my God. I made up my mind that I was gonna forgive Taco Bell. I was gonna go back to Taco Bell. The reason why I stopped eating Taco Bell was for something not to do with their food, but for something to do with their commercials. They was put this Illuminati stuff out on commercials right in front of your face. And I'm like, Taco Bell pretty bold for doggone putting this out on a commercial. Illuminati. Crazy. Me and my brother was like, hey, you kidding me? So I ain't gonna fool with Taco Bell because of this. I ain't gonna fool with them, man. They got too much going on. But I'm like, look. Them chickens look like they nothing to nobody. That butt naked chicken look is off the chain. So I went back to Taco Bell for that chicken chalupa. It's one of those things. But I look at things and I put connect the dots and things like that and try to decide if I believe what I see or not. It's crazy though. But you decide. The views of this show is not necessary, not to be taken law. It's just to open your mind and to get you to think about a different thing. I'm not trying to tell you to think like me. I'm not trying to tell you that I know I'm right about everything. I'm just expressing my views and expressing my thoughts out loud. And you can come up with your own narrative on what you feel or believe about what I'm saying. But it's just, for conversation purposes. They give us a chance to communicate. Now, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Inside the Den. If you're watching this show, if you like what we talk about, if you like the conversation, like the vibe, subscribe to the show for a reason. I want you to subscribe to the show. Every time I go live, you get a notification that I'm going live. Take a few minutes to look at what we got going on. We're going to be breaking down these videos and putting out little small micro videos so you don't have to sit through the whole 2-hour show. You can watch a 5-minute nugget, you know what I'm saying? And you can kind of see what we're doing. We're switching topics and things like that. But I want you to comment because comment creates dialogue. And I'm going to tell you why. I went live the other day in my office, just kind of vibing. It was about 2 hours, I think it was. But I started out listening to some music, started vibing. Me and TJ started talking about something, and somebody on Twitch started talking about something, and it created dialogue. It was saying something in terms of religion is BS and God is BS and this and that, and got me like into a whole freaking conversation with them. And it was like an hour long conversation with them typing and texting back and forth and just having some dialogue. And I really appreciate that person, even though, we didn't have the same viewpoints. But it gives us a chance to communicate. I'm not somebody who's going to be like, kick rocks. I don't want to talk to you. If you don't believe the way I believe, we can't be friends. None of that. No, sir. That's not me. This is just to open up your mind and thoughts to what other viewpoints, because you might not think about things until I say them. Your process might be different than what I have, but it's just to create dialogue. So, like, subscribe, comment Inside the Den on YouTube right here, Inside the Den on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Inside the Den. I'm on Instagram, Inside the Den here. And over here, I'm on Inside the Den on Twitch. Subscribe. Help me get my followers up. Help me get my views and subscriptions up, all the kind of stuff. Help me out. You know what I'm saying? I want to take this show to another level. I want to be able to get some 4K cameras in here and a whole team of people in here and make this thing, get on the audio and get Spotify. I want to be able to do all that, but I need y'all to help me out. So if y'all like me, y'all love me, help me out. Share this stuff. Get on my stuff. Like it, subscribe it, repost it, whatever you got to do. But I love to hear y'all interact, and I love to hear y'all comment. So just please help me out. I'm begging you, please, 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 please. If I got to get on like James Brown and start dancing for y'all to start liking me. I can't dance very well, but if it'll give me some views, Caleb, I'll go to moonwalking, break dancing. I'll go to pop locking and everything. If y'all like my impressions, get on here and like me so I can do more. Tell me what you like. This is me. This is Inside the Den. This is a more intimate part of who I am. Some of y'all know me as the credit repair guy. Some of y'all know me about being an entrepreneur and having all these businesses. If y'all don't know me, let me tell you what I do. I do credit repair. We do taxes. We do resumes. I'm a financial advisor. I'm a financial consultant. We do U-Hauls, dealership. I sell fire sticks. I sell beard oil. I got a moving company, cleaning service, life coach, a motivator, all this stuff. You name it, we do it. But I ain't talking about none of that on this show. I'm not trying to promote no business or none of that. I just want to talk about human activity, human God dog it. I'm over here stuttering, trying to get my words out, everybody. Human interaction. We talk about intimate things. We talk about whatever it is. We talking about personal things. You get to see another side of me inside the den, because I don't have to be a professional on here. Like I said before, this is unscripted, unrehearsed. I make a lot of mistakes. Y'all can laugh at me, but if it's gonna make y'all watch me again, I'll keep making mistakes so y'all can keep watching me. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm not asking nobody for no money. I ain't got no GoFundMe account. I don't need a GoFundMe account. I just need y'all to go find me account. They'll go find me, like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. And as the show gets older and as we, start to develop an actual identity of the show, then you'll be able to see, what we're doing. I like watching other people's shows. Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. I'm gonna tell you, when I watched Mike Tyson about 2 weeks ago, he had T-Pain on the show. It was so funny. Mike Tyson say, "Tell me about your entrepreneurship. What are you buying? What are you selling? What are you doing with yourself?" And T-Pain said, "I'm trying to sell a couch on Craigslist." But it's funny because Mike Tyson is somebody who freaking came up, raw boxing. Everybody was scared of Mike Tyson, and now Mike Tyson is a motivational speaker. I actually like Mike Tyson, always loved him. But I watch other people's shows. Another show I like to watch is I Am Athlete. It's got Ocho Cinco and Fred Taylor and a couple of different football players on there, retired football players. And then I like to watch Cam Newton show, Smoke and Sip. So I get ideas from other people's shows, but this is the Lions Den, baby. You know what I mean? Got my twin brother behind me, Mufasa here. I got Caleb over here. We just vibing, chilling, and it's a Friday evening. You know what I mean? Everybody, this is the moonlight special because I got all the lights out in here. I just got these lamps on right now, but I got the big light off, so we just vibing. Look, so if y'all like the show, like, subscribe. Do whatever you got to do, but let me know you like it. Comment. I see my cousin on here. I don't have, my eyes are not that good. I'm looking at this phone. It looks like Kenyatta Merle is on here. That's my cousin. Uh, Grew up together, love her. I'm surprised she's on here. So hey, cuz, she said keep it up. I definitely will. But y'all, I like the comments, y'all. Y'all, I do for the comments, not for the likes. But y'all hit me up. You know, I'm one of those comedians that I get funnier the more people laugh. You know what I mean? I have to see people laughing for me to get funnier. And she knows it. She knows that she's been on me all her life. When people start, you know, boom. So when y'all start commenting and stuff, I can come with some real good topics and everything. But I need to hear y'all on here. I need to read y'all comments and stuff. So y'all let me know what y'all want to hear, what y'all want to talk about, and when we figure out how to get y'all on here, we can do a video Zoom or something, and y'all can be at your house on the show. How about that? So this is where we are. We're growing. We're getting better every week. I can't wait to see y'all next time. I'm planning on having a show on Sunday, but who knows? We'll see. But this your boy Daniel Lyons and Evans. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Hey, have a great weekend. Be safe out there. I know the storming where I'm at over here, but I think it might be gonna stop raining now. But y'all have a great evening. God bless you. We love you. Talk to you soon.